If you ever played or watched Last of Us, you might have noticed that they have some pretty cool lights. Well, this little Wurkkos light might be just the thing you're looking for if you've wanted a light like that too. Hey everybody, it's Ben in Beta, and today I have another light for you. Now, you might wonder why I do so many light reviews on the channel, and it's just because I like to be able to see what I'm doing, and I really love little cool lights like this one that are kind of unique in the marketplace. And so this is the Wurkkos HD03, and it's got a couple of really cool features, one of which is that it can clip onto things, which is pretty cool. So you can clip it on your shirt, or a jacket, or whatever. It also happens to be magnetic. And that can really come in handy when you need a different angle for your light. So this little Wurkkos HD03, just in functionality so far, pretty cool. But that's not all it can do. It actually has two different lights, a spotlight, and then more of a diffuse light. And it can go from 1 lumen all the way up to 680 lumens just from this little thing right here. And if you're running it on just the 1 lumen setting, you can get 35 hours out of this tiny little thing that recharges via USB-C. They come in multiple different colors. It can be dropped from 1.5 meters. It's IPX6 rated as well. Lots of cool specs. Now you've got a chance to see what it looks like. Let's see how it performs. People keep telling me when I do light reviews, I have to go into the dark with these lights. And I guess they're right. But what people don't realize about me is I'm often in bed before it's dark, especially during the summer, and I'm often up when the sun comes up. So I don't see much dark, but I think I have a solution for this. Let's go see how it performs. Remember that these videos take a lot of time and effort to make, so please hit that like button if you found this at all helpful. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done that for more videos like this one and many others around detailing, overlanding, and lots of different cool products. So this would be a good test if you threw a breaker and lights went out in your basement or something like that, and you needed to be able to see what was going on. But I think it's pretty dark in here. So we're gonna turn the light on in just this lowest setting here and see what it looks like. So right now this is the spotlight setting and it's on just 1 lumen. And honestly, it's pretty crazy just how bright that is. But let's see just how much brighter it gets in that same spotlight. Now the color temperature here is daylight, so it's like 6,500, but let's move it up a little bit and see what it looks like. That's setting number 2, setting 3, setting number 4. That is a ton of light, and I'm gonna have absolutely no trouble seeing my electrical panel over here using this. Now I'm holding it right now, but in a moment we're gonna see what it's like when I'm not doing that. So pretty easy there. Now we're gonna do that same test with a diffuse light. This has a little lower color temperature. It's about 6,000 Kelvin. And the way you switch between spotlight and the diffuse light is with this little switch here, so you can actually do that live if you want. And this is again at that 1 lumen setting. Now the diffuse light is a little bit less intense, but it's gonna give you a bigger area. And again, let's turn it up a little bit. Setting 2, and that's quite a bit of light. Setting 3, setting 4. So I could easily work at this bench if I needed to, especially at setting 4, but let's go all the way back down to setting 1 again. Even at this setting, I'd have no problem seeing what I was doing. But setting 2 might be kind of the sweet spot, I think, in terms of what I would need to do down here. All right, now to see a couple different features of the light from kind of the other view here. One of the things I can do with this is attach it to my shirt. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Now that's blinding you, but now my hands are free and I can work on things. And the light is basically pointing exactly where I need it to point because it's on my shirt. It'd probably be even better if it was in a pocket. Going over now, back to this panel, which I would not be able to see, even though there's a little bit of light coming through here. I wouldn't be able to read this panel or anything like that, and I can just show you what that looks like by turning this off. I wouldn't be able to tell you anything about this panel. I wouldn't be able to read any of this very well. I can kind of sort of make out the big letters, but really not everything else. And as soon as I switch it back on, even in the 1 lumen setting, I have more than enough light to see what's going on. And remember that this setting will last 35 hours. So that's pretty fantastic. And then it also has a red light feature for you to be able to see at night, and that's a double tap. You've also got a flashing red and blue light if you want to really draw attention to yourself, and just be careful that you don't get a ticket for impersonating a police officer. It switches between a bunch of different colors, which is kind of cool. You get this fun multicolored light if you want to do a disco party. Then there's some more flashing lights with the different settings. You just double tap to get through all these. One tap brings you back to that sort of more pinkish but red light for being able to use in the dark and not hurt your vision. And one click it's back on again. Then let's say I'm back here and I need to work on something. Maybe I want to see the blower motor and what's going on here, but I don't want to hold this. It's magnetic, so now I can see kind of what's going on there. And if I need more light, again, I just hold that and make it quite a bit brighter. That's plenty of light for me to be able to work back here and see kind of what's going on. I think the floodlight might be better, so I can just make that switch really quickly by switching to the floodlight. And now I can work on this. So this light would be pretty handy for people who are working in like the trades, that kind of thing too. If you need light in a specific spot and you need to have both of your hands and be able to see what you're doing. I have links in the description if you want to pick one of these lights up, and I think it would be worth your while to do so. It's a pretty great light, ton of features packed into a very tiny light. And now I've got spider webs all over me. If you have any questions about the HD03, please let me know. I'd be happy to answer those in the comments or make a follow-up video. All right, thank you so much for watching. Remember, live your life in beta, and we'll see you next time. It also happens to be magnetic. It also happens to be magnetic.